Today I'll be analyzing the Springdale Library in Komagatu Maru Park in Brampton, Ontario, with the Microtropicality Office in Jakarta, Indonesia, in terms of how they use orientation to achieve their respective design intentions. The Springdale Library in Komagatu Maru Park by RDHA is a contrast to the surrounding suburban area. The intent of this project was to create a gathering place in a rather suburban context that has a stronger presence and use within the community. Because of the triangular form, the orientation of the building becomes very important in the way it defines entrance, the outdoor courtyards, interior views, and the street edge. These are all important factors that work towards creating the strong presence and use of the building in the city. Additionally, to maintain a comfortable space and sustainable design, the facade features a solar-responsive ceramic fritz pattern that protects from glare and solar heat gain, expanding and contracting depending on solar orientation. Similar to the intention discussed in the previous project, but in a smaller scale, the Microtropicality Office also strives to redefine itself in its context. Intending to reimagine the traditional ideas of tropical architecture, it experiments and further develops the dialogue between architecture and tropicality in its microclimate to meet today's current need of environmental exploration. Usually in a tropical climate, there are a set of elements that define it. However, for the architects, living in the tropics is never simply about avoiding rain and sun with pitched roofs. Using east and west orientation instead of the traditional south and north, the architects experiment with the effect of this orientation within their microclimate and use it as an opportunity to develop the materiality of the facades to create the necessary comfort conditions. The scales, climate, and constraints and use of these buildings is drastically different. However, both projects strive to redefine themselves in their context and use orientation to achieve this intention. In contrast to the Microtropicality Office, which focuses orientation on achieving the appropriate interior conditions needed for a tropical climate, the Springdale Library in Komagatu Maru Park shows how orientation is more than about some path. It affects people's entire movement and sense within the space, outside, inside, and in between. Using this as my basis, I believe Springdale Library and Komagatu Maru Park therefore better showcases the extent to which orientation affects the entirety of an architectural work.